Alright everyone, we start off today with a very, very funny video. I didn't expect this to happen actually, which is that Biden is exempting the Nord Stream 2 pipeline from Russian sanctions. By the way, if Trump had done this, don't you think this would be front page news for weeks on end? You'd have people in Congress, the Democrats, demanding an investigation into whether it was prefaced on Trump, evil orange drumfler taking a kickback from Putin or something, but for some reason nobody wants to talk about it. I wonder why. Could it be because that propagandist mythology fell apart? Anyway, link in the description, archived of course to this story. By the way, there will be links below if you're watching this on YouTube in a pinned comment with links to 4 other video hosting sites plus Substack, of course. I've been throwing that in. That I put content on. I make 4 videos a day, only 2 of them end up on YouTube. Now you have to cover topics that are verboten at this point on big tech, so it's become a necessity. YouTube hates its own creators, as you can clearly see in your stats, probably if you make any videos. Anyway, I don't know exactly why this would particularly be done. This is an attempt by Russia, essentially to sell gas to Europe. Any time that you're selling something to people, if it's an intrinsic part of the economy, and energy is really the big one, you gain leverage over them. Why is Biden exempting perhaps the biggest leverage move in the last decade by Vladimir Putin? Why is he taking that off the table for sanctions? This is one of the few sanctions that sort of makes sense. Of course, the U.S. should act in its own self-interest and want to sell fuel to Europe. I'm assuming that it's basically a fig leaf, an olive branch to the far left for environmental concerns. I mean, it does make more sense for Europe to buy Russian as opposed to, I guess, bringing it over on huge ships from the United States, where it's already been middlemanned anyway. We have a huge amount of oil refineries, a lot of natural gas. It makes more sense, maybe, but for the American hemisphere, economically and diplomatically speaking, certainly is a losing move. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Again, if Trump had done this, they would have said, well, there's Moscow Mitch's friend is bowing to the Russians again. He's kissing Putin's ring, and they're giving each other, reach-arounds, essentially. But you hear none of that. It's just basically on a page B on CNN and all of these other sites. Oh, by the way, man, they just really hush-hush. Yeah, Biden has dropped the sanctions on Russia relevant to their gas pipeline. Well, again, this should be major, major news. And by the way, it would be major news under Trump, too. It would still be something to condemn, as it makes no sense. Ultimately, I don't have any problems with Russia, so keep this in mind. I'm not a Russophobe. I'm not taken in by the Boris Natalia bullshit, the propaganda about Putin trying to screw with the U.S. election over and over again. I don't believe that. No Russian ever fucked me in the ass. That being said, as an American, I believe in America first economically. Yes, absolutely, that means wanting to sell fuel to the Europeans, as opposed to them buying it from the Russians, which do form a dipole, a de facto competitor at least, if not a hostile state like some people believe. And all of these liberal lemmings don't even know that this is happening, because it's not going to be reported on heavily by the MSM. Wouldn't it cause them in their cognitive dissonance-addled minds to maybe ask questions, well, I thought that Trump was namby-pambying with the Russians and he was an asset of Vladimir Putin, but now Beijing Biden is the one that's actually allowing this fucking gas pipeline to be built. Maybe in their dull minds something would click and they'd realize they had been lied to then or they're being lied to now, probably both. So the MSM won't report on it. I bet half of those people that are cheering on Biden spent the last 4 years rambling about Russia and now never mention it. Other than in the context of, well, thank goodness Orange Man's out. He was a Russian asset. Well, he sanctioned the fucking pipeline. Wasn't him that's helping the Russians to build it and have no economic blowback from doing so. We should absolutely, the United States, as with any country, should do whatever it can to make as much money as possible, to sell shit and to obtain shit as priceless as possible, and to throw its weight around. Every nation should do this. Technically, every nation should be imperialistic. It's only when you start bombing third world civilians and stuff, of course, and it's the negative side of that, but it should definitely act in its economic interests. We got a fucking recession, we got stagflation beginning in the United States, and you're trying to give away a potential significant energy market to another country. Why? Again, if Trump had done this, he would be rightfully crucified by the legacy media for doing so, and by all of the lemmings, that by some of these people. Their cognitive dissonance is so deep, their partisanship runs so deep, that they'll cheer Biden for this. Oh, thank goodness, we need to... I condemned Russia and said we should probably nuke them off the face of the earth for the last 4 years, but now I've had a change of heart because of the letter after the name of the person who happens to be shitting in the White House. That's about all. Peace out.